So I'm going to give a demonstration of the rotary evaporator. These models are called a HeiVap, and it's kind of similar to our hot plates, which are called high plates. So you can see some similarities in the way the buttons are and stuff. So what does this device do? It's basically a method to, after you've done a reaction and you need to concentrate your sample. So this concentrates a sample, like pumps off solvent really efficiently. And I'm going to pretend that I have this flask is a product, and I want to concentrate it. Okay. So the main parts of this device, we have this glass thing. This is called a trap, a dry ice trap. The idea is that when you're concentrating, and we'll show this in a second, the solvent is kind of going up through this system, and it's being removed. You're removing the solvent. And so the idea is that it's going to encounter a cold surface, a very, very, very cold surface in the middle here. And then the cold surface is going to make the solvent, basically the liquid, which is not what we don't want, to drip in to the bottom, which is like a waste. So this is waste. Eventually this gets emptied at the end of the experiment. So that's the basic theory, and it's going to rotate around while this is working. The solvent under vacuum, there's a vacuum, is going to be traveling, vaporized to this cold surface. All right? We have a couple buttons we're going to press also. One to cause the spinning mechanism, and one for the heat bath. You can just come up here real quick and see. This is a water bath, and we're going to maybe do 35 or 40 degrees Celsius, and this keeps it warm, and that's good to evaporate the solvent. Things we need to work with is dry ice. Now this is not normal ice. Of course, you should know that it's dried CO2. It's very cold. It's about -80 degrees Celsius. You can touch it. It is very cold. I wouldn't have touched it extensively, but I can hold it for a second. It also has, what's this gas coming off? It's CO2. It's subliming. The CO2 is subliming. It's going from solid directly to gas, skipping liquid phase. So what are we going to do with this stuff? We want this little cooling bath. We got to cool it down, and the way we're going to do it is we're going to add the dry ice. All right. One question is, there's a liquid there. You can hopefully see it. What is this liquid? It's isopropyl alcohol, right? It's isopropanol, just like rubbing alcohol, but it's the pure stuff. And but this stuff will cool down to about -80 degrees Celsius, which is good. Let's try it out. My recommendation is not add a lot initially, just a little bit, and see what happens. So it's kind of bubbling like crazy, and that's fine. But if you add too much, it bubbles out of control. It splashes you. So we're going to do a little bit, and sometimes I add some and I wait. And this is more CO2 that's coming off. You can come a little closer and see there's all these bubbles and stuff. I mean, it's cooling down, and so we just add small amounts until it's not as aggressively bubbling, because it'll eventually kind of just be more settled, and that's what we want. For a couple minutes, I added more dry ice. It's pretty good now, and we've added a fair amount of dry ice. Here and there we'd add more, like later in the lab I'd give some more. It shouldn't ever be completely gone, and we have a little cap, so put the cap on top. All right, we're good with the dry ice. All right, so now we're going to give a demonstration of how to actually do the rotovapping, or rotary evaporation. Okay, so this is just methyl terbutyl ether as a demo. There's nothing. There's no reaction product in here. I'm just going to demonstrate how to use this thing. So the way you do it, and you can slowly start coming up this way a bit, and so one thing is I'm going to do. Oh yeah, notice how I cap it. When you're waiting, you should keep it capped, because there's a little bit of solvent vapor, and we can eliminate our exposure to it. All right. So I take off the cap, put on this little blue clip. Okay, so it's clipped. It should be secure. Now, I sometimes will still keep my hand ready, because sometimes if it's, say this is really heavy, it could fall off, and this is a lightweight one. This should be okay. So I'm just going to turn it back on. So hit the power switch. Okay, so now there's a couple things here. One is the temperature, which is the water temperature down there. And I think we said we're going to be at 35 degrees Celsius, sometimes 40. You can ask your instructor. So I can set it. See, 35. Okay, let's go 35. Hit the button. Now it's orange. It's going to start warming up. So the bath's warming up. Okay, I can. Right now it's still cold, but it's coming up. I can also turn on the rotation, which is the other dial. So I don't know. I'm kind of. I think about maybe 100. Is probably. You don't need to be that much. Maybe 100 to 150. It's not a big difference. Okay. I'll say 150. All right, so it's spinning nicely. We want this to go into the bath, though, and we have a little button there that goes downwards. So it's very modern. The old ones didn't do this automatically. So we're just barely dipping in. It's about a centimeter in. You see that? Good? But the vacuum is not engaged yet, because the vacuum is how this actually works. Let's talk about the vacuum now. Let's look at this thing first. This is the vacuum gauge. Vacuum's off, and it's at 1,000, which is basically atmospheric pressure. As we get this going, though, we'll gradually drop this. We don't want to go too fast, though. Like, this is like maximum vacuum all the way down here. This is like no vacuum. So we like to be gentle, and I like to maybe start at 600 and decrease it. One of the ways you can control that is this knob here. So if we tighten it, there's actually going to be it's like a leak valve, so it creates a leak, yeah? So I tightened it to the right, so this would be maximum vacuum, but we're going to loosen up a bit, and then I can control it. All right, does that make sense? Well, let's turn it on. Turn on the vacuum. The vacuum is right here. There's a little switch in the back. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. Right there's the switch, yeah? Now, when I turn it on, I'm going to go look back on my gauge and watch the gauge. Okay, so it's going. Now there's vacuum, and I don't want there to be a ton of vacuum. I want to gradually make more and more and more and more vacuum, okay? So this is a good starting point. Let me show you one more thing. Go back. There's this thing here. This is this creates a leak also. I have to make sure it's closed. This is open, leaky. Now let's close it. All right. So now everything's sealed. So what I can do, you can come back around this way. I'm looking at that number, and I'm also looking at my flask, and I see, and I'm also looking at the dry ice. What I want to do is gradually start seeing dripping as this stuff evaporates up, drips into the waste. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to slowly tighten the vacuum, and then I'll see the number drop. See, oh, the number's dropping. The number's dropping a bit. Oh, did I see a drip? I saw a drip. A little more vacuum, up to 600, or what do we got? Not much dripping, but I can slowly, gradually drop the pressure. I'm tightening, and I'm starting to see some dripping, and what I want is a nice consistent dripping. So let's keep a little more vacuum. Number is at about 400 now. And okay, I'm seeing some dripping. Still slow. I should be patient, but I'm a little impatient. I'm going to drop it a little bit more. What's my number at now? We're going down to about 300. Oh, now what do we got? It's starting to be a little more consistent. See that? Drip. Drip. That's what we want. Okay, one more thing. Let's look at the flask. If you're too aggressive, like you drop the pressure too quick, it might start being agitated, and it might want to bump. A bump is like a little mini splash where your sample might jump up to this bulb. If that's the case, you have to wash your stuff down. But if you're a little patient, everything's cool. So let's look back again. We're at 200, and I see the dripping is great. Everything's wonderful. I have a nice consistent dripping. Yeah, see the dripping? Can you see that in the video? Pretty, get it really close. You see the dripping? Yeah, the dripping. There it is. Drip, drip, drip. Everything's working perfectly. I'm at 200 again. Now, that probably means 200 is perfect, right? If it's dripping away, and I'm at 200, well, 200 seems to be the magic number. I would only recommend, though, don't just immediately jump it to 200. I would maybe gradually. I always use gradually. Okay. So basically that's it. This is going to be totally dry soon, and that's like the end point. I'm gonna stop the video soon and just because we don't have to go to complete dryness. I explained this. What I want to show you is how do we turn it off. Because say it's completely dry. Usually you have a solid, like your product is a solid. And we're done. Say we're all done. How am I going to do this? Usually what I like to do is I'm going to create a leak the vacuum. So I'm going to go the other way. So you leak. It's leaking. I also open this thing up. Everything's leaking. And then I am going to hit the switch. Okay, the switch is off. So we do everything in the opposite order. Then I turn off the rotation and the bath. And I lift it up. Okay, so it is not done, but I'm pretending it is for the video, and you can see, you know, because it lost a lot of the solvent. It was evaporated. Anyway, it's a good stopping point. I'm gonna close this. At the end of the day, what other stuff do you need to do? You gotta turn it off. So that, you know, if you have other people, you know, turn it off. But if you're the last person, you should turn it off. That raises it up. If you made a mess or it bumped, your sample bumped, you should clean this out into the waste. How do you take it off? Just kind of snap that off and then a wash into the acetone. Never leave a mess for somebody else to clean up. One more thing, maybe at the end of the day, your instructor is going to say, please empty the trap. And so you take this off and we go simply dump this into the organic waste. Like that. Don't need to clean this because it's a waste anyway, but you pour the waste into the organic waste and we reattach with a metal clip. Okay? That's it. That's the rotary evaporator, and I think it's really fun and it works well. You'll probably learn more tricks as you use this. If you have questions about any of this, let me know. Usually I leave it with this leak. So it's leaky right now, and when the next person uses it, they'll close the leak.